fun stuff, an American player that's not attending TI this year, and that actually was tweeting that Cloud9 will go to the Pugna in the last game. I wasn't sure about it, but it looks like it's a nice prediction there. It's a hero that's been running quite successfully. Misery can play it on support, position 4. They can play it on Fada, but it hasn't been the best hero for Fada mid. And they also play it on Bone 7 in the offlane. So right now it's really hard to predict Cloud9's lane.
Fairly unusual pick, but low pick so far at TI5. Only the the 9th time it's been picked.
The Pugna?
Yeah.
That's majorly C9's picks.
Yeah, exactly, and pretty much all of this.
I've seen them plenty of times in the group stage run this, so they are not strangers to this. It's just the others have not really caught on to the C9 meta.
I think for now with Cloud9's draft, if they don't have a significant advantage at like minute 15 or so, they're going to have a really tough time defending against Vici Gaming, because Vici Gaming's lineup looks really scary in terms of teamfight if they get their core items going.
Also, they would love to have the Anti-Mage in this game if it was ever available to him, so very nice by Vici that they banned that out. It would have been so strong against Vici's lineup.
And Cloud9 just looks like they want to force down towers really early with the early mech on Shadow Fiend and just push. Again, they have no catch. So if they played a split push game versus Vici, they're going to lose out because Vici can be far more aggressive. Like even Darkseer can just surge or TP away and feel completely safe. So
how about still Beastmaster for Cloud9?
I think the Beastmaster could maybe work, but Fada loves to play Shadow Fiend. I honestly think they're going to go for Eternal Envy on Razor, and that's going to be their lineup. But Beastmaster could also work. I would love to see it again by them, but I'm just not sure that this is the lineup. He works better when you have plenty of stuns and really good ganking heroes. And so here, they kind of like him.
Who plays the Pugna? Because Misery and Nota have both played.
Yeah, they also played it on Bone 7, so
yeah, they have.
Anyone really.
Yeah.
It depends on the
Bone 7 twice at TI5 so far. No-Tail once, and Misery once. So 4 of the 9 picks.
Okay.
There we go. No lockdown, but
that is really strange. That's such a strange lineup, and it's such a bad lineup in a way because you don't have any way of catching people. It's terrifying. If Vici Gaming fights into you, then that lineup is great. But if they dodge fights, if you have to catch them, you know, it's going to be a nightmare. You're just going to be running after them.
Dude, I'm traumatized from the amount of TP outs that I saw with Toby at the last game that they picked no stuns. I'm sure Toby is somewhere out there watching this and he's just shaking his head as well. So
you know, you started this game and you're a Vici Gaming player just by 3 TPs. You're like, I can do whatever.
Oh,
wow.
Shit!
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Holy Moses.
These last picks, I'm not surprised that none of us called.
Well, Sniper's been used as a counter for the structures that you need to kill, the tombstone as well as the ward. So it's actually not bad here.
This is insane. Like those are
Okay, show us the game.
Indeed. Let's get to the game. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, on the panel. Let's head back to our commentary team for game number 2.
An insane game number 1, and we're back here with game number 2 between Vici Gaming and Cloud9, and we have to have one of the most interesting drafts I have seen. For sure, one of the most interesting drafts in this main event. Bloodseeker last pick for Cloud9, and a sniper pick for Super. He's an acclaimed sniper player. Blitz, what do you think about this? Round out these lineups.
I kind of like the sniper because you need something to deal with the Undying at some point. You can attack the Nether Ward from quite some distance. Your laning phase against the Shadow Fiend is pretty strong if you play it correctly, but it is a little bit troublesome because, I mean, the Queen of Pain and the Bloodseeker close distance on you so quickly, but, I mean, if this is a pocket strat from both teams, Vici Gaming, they know they're 1 game away from eliminating Cloud9, and Cloud9 back to their wall, decide to go for that Undying Pugna that Fluff and Stuff was talking about.
You know, I was looking at it, and I really agreed with what the analyst was talking about in that Cloud9 have this really great draft if you fight into them, but Vici Gaming may just try and go for split push. So I was thinking about what sort of mids were left, and I thought, okay, maybe, you know, I didn't see Templar Assassin ban. I was like, maybe, you know, go for a Templar Assassin. I'm not sure how well that laning phase would work out if you were facing the Queen of Pain, but most likely you're facing the SF. Heavy amount of split push with Desolator. It seemed like the right idea, but this sniper, similar vein of thought in that you can do a little bit of split pushing, and as they said, incredibly good, particularly in dealing with the Pugna ward, being able to eliminate that with your high amount of range. The question is sniper still in the meta?
I think there's a reason why it's not. It's still hard to protect, and it's such a risky strategy, but Vici Gaming clearly have an idea around it. They've got the Earthshaker, you've got the Cold Embrace from the Winter Wyvern as well that can back him up. That's probably what you're relying on, but his laning phase is going to determine a lot. Like, he actually has to do incredibly well against Fada to be able to live throughout this game, but we're just going to see is Cloud9 versus Vici Gaming, potentially the last game of the day. I'm really hoping for a third one.
All right, so starting things off here, the battle we're going to go the way of, let's see, Fada's got his, and Super will actually be able to snag at the top one there. We had just a small little skirmish there inside of the Radiant jungle, but Vici Gaming very clearly did not want to be fighting into an Undying. Fenrir, as our Earthshaker, is actually going to be sitting a little bit on this middle lane, really to be expected. You don't want to be leaving too many gaps for your sniper to get ganked up, and I'm just not sure they're going to be able to win this bottom lane. The Undying Queen of Pain, as the analyst Des actually said, this is probably one of the most fearsome dual lanes you could possibly have. The constant harassment between both Decay and Shadow Strike now. They are going to be slowed down a bit here. Eternal Envy.
Envy use Shadow Strike.
Yeah, he doesn't have to blink away. They're going to go straight for Eternal Envy, and he is stuck up against that Fissure. How gets the first blood, and now trying to get away from Big Daddy No Tail. Help potioning up.
2 seconds.
And he has the Decay up, but it's not going to be enough. He just turns around, throws it on Fenrir, but Hal survives. And that dual lane, as I'm hyping it up as being so terribly aggressive and very tough to deal with, Vici Gaming still find the opening at level 1 against the Shadow Strike first Queen of Pain.
And once again, Ice is given a pretty advantageous lane. He's the Darkseer against the Bloodseeker one-on-one. But Bone 7, he's just going to right-click him out, and this is the strength of the Bloodseeker. He doesn't really care about the level 1, level 2 Ion Shell, because he can just stand his ground fight. The Pugna isn't really going to help him out too much in the lane, just because it's a Pugna.
Right.
The reason you pick it isn't for the lane dominance that it gives you, it's for the safe push that you can get out of it and that Nether Ward in the mid game. But so this top lane is going to be pretty neutral. It's this bottom lane and this mid lane that I'm worried about right now, because Super is doing a really good job of denying out Fada. He's keeping up in CS, and
yeah, we're seeing Super harken back to an older sniper where you would actually ignore Shrapnel. Super would tend to go for this exact build where he would really try and abuse his early range to harass out and out CS the enemy mid. Now we saw Hao actually drop very low, those constant decays. He had 340 max HP at one point in time due to Big Daddy's No Tails, just constant spam.
All right, this
Fenrir.
top lane is going to get hard now because he's just going to keep putting double Ion Shell. He's actually decided to go for the boots, which tells me he might just go for a bottle instead, but he's really getting aggressive in this top lane as Bone 7 can't really zone him out. Actually just punching his way to freedom is Bone 7. He's just got to get every last hit here.
Yeah, very critical you don't fall around that half HP, because then every single time you move forward up against the Ion Shell, it's critical that you get those last hits to start healing yourself up. Bloodseekers tend not to bring any regen in lane because they depend on Blood Rage, but this also can be a downside. If you drop too low in HP, then an enemy offlaner will just aggressively push you away from the creeps entirely, and you won't be able to have that opportunity for regeneration.
Something a little bit troubling for me right now is that this Darkseer is doing such a good job at top. He's got 14 CS already, and Queen of Pain isn't really matching him. Really gave up first blood at the same time, so the laning phase is working out quite well for C9. As there's actually one stack for the Shadow Fiend to fall back upon, but that's not really going to make up for the CS difference right now. As Super's finally got 2 levels of the Shrapnel now, and he wants to get aggressive.
Do you think that should be Misery's full-time job at this point, just constantly stacking up? Because it seems clear he's not going to have that much of an effect against the offlane Darkseer.
He might be going down the Fissure to fly.
Yeah, Fenrir's holding on to it in the last second. Will throw it out now. Beautiful block, and Super easily going to be able to pick up that kill thanks to his buddy, the Earthshaker. Nice rotation into lane, and Vici Gaming now stretch that lead 2-0.
We always talk about FY, but we don't talk about the other half of the support duo. FY and Fenrir, one of the most revered combos. You're seeing right there why, because he doesn't really need FY to execute those ganks. The perfect timing on the Fissure, blocks out Fada so he has nowhere to go, and just helps the sniper get even further ahead, and this is not what the Shadow Fiend needs.
Super 22-10. I love the high number of denies he's got, particularly against an SF who is so dependent on getting CS in order to raise his damage through souls. Ice is actually looking for the stacks now, and he actually wants to be able to take this one away. Perhaps this is the big downside. Vici Gaming very smartly. Even if Misery is going to be full-time stacking, he's not going to have the opportunity to clear through that. Now, Fada, of course, he's actually going to be dropping low now for the snipe coming in. They get the kill. Oh, beautiful opportunity. And now if they take away the stack as well, what does Fada have to fall back on? I mean, we always talk about, oh, SFs, they always have a way back into the game, even if the lane is very hard for them. They always have those stacks. They're going to be able to get the kill on No Tail, picking that one up, but need a little bit more. Fenrir strikes him with the Enchant Totem, and now Eternal Envy will finish off the kill on the support. He needs to blink away. At the same time, we did have some action farther up. Oh, no, they actually going to be able to get the kill still on How. Undying picks it up there with the Tombstone, and FY has to run himself away. He still has the Cold Embrace to heal himself up, but Eternal Envy has the damage. He just needs 2 more right clicks. The one actually keeps FY alive, and he finally does go down. Eternal Envy gets him thanks to the Bloodseeker's vision.
And that bottom lane is going to be the saving grace for them right now as Fada. Even his stack right there was kind of ruined. I don't think he anticipated that snipe coming in. It's been such a long time since anybody's played against a sniper that you probably just don't think about it. It's like, okay, a Darkseer's running at me. What is this actually going to lead to? I can just run away, but Super and Ice connect to get a kill on the solo mid hero. And Vici Gaming still firmly in control of this laning phase.
Fenrir kind of positioned for a Fissure block potentially, but it's still the only block you're going to be able to get is against an Undying. Don't really want to be fighting into that, particularly since No Tail is constantly spamming out the decay. Always making sure he has those stacks. Fissure block, making sure Eternal Envy can't actually get to that rune unless he wants to blink for it. They get a good amount of damage out from FY, and Fenrir will guard that Invis rune, perhaps waiting to use it against the mid SF.
So Ice does go for the bottle. When you go for the boots instead of the recipe, this is fairly obvious. You still have to go for the Soul Ring, but I think Ice just values being able to win that lane at top, so he goes to the bottle. He knows that he doesn't have to alternate to the jungle super soon. This is just a plug-in on a Bloodseeker. And meanwhile in mid, I mean, Super's got pretty much complete lane control with 3 levels of the Shrapnel and the Assassinate. He's got such high kill potential. Fada can't just stand there. Like, that's the only thing that he can do to get back in the game. Go to the jungle, clear out the camps, play safe. Because if Super kills you solo especially, your chances of getting back into this game are nil.
Bone 7, he now has his Rupture, so Ice is going to have to be a little careful of that, but of course, he already has his TP scroll, and Misery doesn't actually have a disable to stop Ice from just TPing away if the Rupture is ever used, so Ice will just continue to spam out Ion Shell after Ion Shell, and Bone 7 is actually having to sit back. They're going to go for the gank at bottom lane, actually. The Tombstone's already been laid out. They're chasing, but Vici Gaming are going to be able to get back to their tier 1 tower. This is no good.
With the level 1 vacuum, he's chasing for this too. But
TP comes in. Bone 7 will be fine. Still, Vici Gaming, I mean, forcing this movement around from Cloud9, just continuing to show such dominance in the laning phase here. Everywhere you look, it seems like they're winning every single lane. The bottom lane, of course, just being a little bit more troublesome than most, but well worth it as their 2 solos are easily establishing control.
He's going to walk into the jungle.
Once again,
Blood
Bone 7
just popped at the same time. He's taking so much damage.
Vacuum. He needs a little bit more, but the silence is there just in time to stop Ice from getting the surge. He wants to go for it underneath the tier 2 tower. It doesn't matter. He'll get the kill anyway, and quick to TP out on top.
Ice, the god. This is the 2nd game in a row. He's been given the one-on-one matchup, and this is a matchup he definitely wins as the Darkseer. It's so hard for the Bloodseeker to be able to stand there.
Careful there, Misery. This is Super. His right clicks, just 2 shots and an Assassinate to finish him off. Decrepify will not save you there, my friend.
And right now, C9 are going for this gank at bottom. There is a smoke on their SF, but they're going to get this stacked camp, but I don't quite know if this is enough for them.
It's a 2-stack. It doesn't make up for what Ice took earlier.
Yes. Vici Gaming right now, what they're doing is so smart. They're just slowing the bleeding at this bottom lane. They're saying, okay, we're not going to give them any opportunity to get back in this bottom lane. So let's just wait it out, see what happens. The rest of our lanes are doing so well. Somebody has to constantly deal with Ice at top. And he always has a TP, so this Bloodseeker on his own can't really pressure him. And he's just going to keep doing the double Ion Shell stack.
Queen of Pain, level 6 here, Vici Gaming. They're actually trying to chase him out of their jungle. Note the very aggressive wards being placed by Cloud9. One inside the jungle, and the other one actually looking towards the hard camp. Eternal Envy turns on the ultimate with the Tombstone on top. Fenrir turns around and gets off the Fissure, but he knows he's done for. FY is just going to TP out, limiting the kills to just 1 for Cloud9.
And EE on a killing spree, doing a really good job of trying to keep up in this game, but it's still a Queen of Pain that doesn't have a lot of CS and is struggling to keep up in levels. So it's great that he's getting a killing spree, but he's still only level 7, and he's not going to be able to really snowball off of this. When it comes to last hits, he's in the bottom 5 of the game.
Putting pressure on that middle tier 1 tower with the physical damage of Fada. He's got 29 souls. They can easily take out this tier 1 tower if they're given another 10 seconds or so. Misery is actually coming over. He's got level 3 Nether Blast as well. But I doubt Vici Gaming are going to give up such critical map control. In fact, they're now pushing aggressively against Fada, but they're not going to be able to find him. And Cloud9 inside of the enemy jungle will not be able to rotate in response.
Ice almost has that mech completed, and I think when he does, they want to get into these fights because they realize that the turnaround potential from C9 is kind of poor.
Oh, that courier sneaking away. Eternal Envy really wanted it. Still staying ahead. Eternal Envy, though, doesn't have the blink up.
I was trying to bait them there. They had the vision of that. They're going to spot Misery rotate. Going to see a mid right now, and I mean, nothing seems to be breaking C9's way right now.
Ice, he's got a haste rune in his bottle right now. He's willing to play forward against Cloud9. Doesn't really matter how many heroes, simply because they do not have the stun. So Cloud9 going to focus on objectives again, not trying to go for the kill on Ice in any way. Knows that the tier 1 tower is the only thing they can take here. Vici Gaming, meanwhile, actually staying away from these fights, but what you said just 30 seconds ago is what really scares me here, is the fact that Vici Gaming are in a position where they almost want to go for fights once they have this mech, where, you know, early on, we're looking at the draft, and it was like Cloud9, you know, they're supposed to be the team fight dominators, and yet they've lost the laning phase so early on. Ice really got it for this kill, trying to pick it up, but now he's Decrep fight up. Fada still needs to be able to turn around and get out the race to finish him off, but will not be able to. Now Ice, he knows he's dead. He got the kill on the SF. He is happy. In the meantime, Super did claim also that tier 1 tower in the top lane, as the Undying goes down as well.
Ice is just creating so much space around the map. The fact that a sniper with 800 HP was able to solo push a tier 1 tower from that much HP is pretty insane. And he also got the kill on the Shadow Fiend, who's struggling so hard right now. Fada's situation is so dire. He's got 0-3-1, only 56 CS, which is pretty pedestrian. When you're a Shadow Fiend, you expect to have around 65, 70, including the jungle, but every single time he's built up any momentum, immediately ganked. And Ice just goes for the kill on him every single time, applies the pressure, realizes that he's really close to his mech. He's actually got it completed now, but Fada's nowhere near anything. And C9, in response, are finally going to start to push down towers. They realize, okay, the pickoff potential is a little bit too high. The laning phase didn't go the best, but we still have Tombstone.
But Vici Gaming are going to go for the defense here. They just picked up the mech, and they're going to rotate in with a smoke on the courier. They're going to make a surprise jump here on Cloud9, who are probably assuming that they're going to be giving up these tier 1 towers just because of the natural teamfight dominance that their draft has given them. But Vici Gaming, they're going to try and go, starting off with Fada. They're going to jump forward, Fisher to start things off. Already the Tombstone is laid out, but Fada is gone, and now the vacuum's going to be able to catch Misery on top of that one. The Decrepify is there on the Tombstone, but without any heroes to back it up, they're not going to be able to do much. The Blood Right is laid down. Vici Gaming will all dodge it, and now Big Daddy No Tail's in a bad position. Eternal Envy comes in, throws out a big ultimate, will be able to eliminate 2, but Eternal Envy with the blink forward is now going to be taken out by Super's Mask of Madness. Well, it looks like Bone7's going to fall as well with the Assassinate to finish him off. How dominating spree, Sniper as well. Vici Gaming establishing a huge lead here in this game too.
That was such a beautiful trap that they set. The Earthshaker was in perfect position. They completely lock in the enemy team from C9, and they just were forced to fight, but it was such an inefficient position. They had both the Death Ward down and the Tombstone, but it made no difference because Vici Gaming were completely prepared for that fight. That's typically a move we see where, okay, they're in too good of a position, we'll give up the tower, but Vici Gaming weren't interested in that at all. Their superior positioning and the farm that they have right now, it's a little bit too much, as you're seeing the sniper pick pay off. He just sits in the background, waits for C9 to get over-aggressive. You saw Envy blink forward, instantly turns it around.
Yeah, but the heavy stats-based build, double Wraith Bands, one of them into a Ring of Aquila. Now the Mask of Madness, his physical damage is easily punishing certain heroes like the SF and the Queen of Pain. I feel like Bone7 as well is going to have a hard time if he ever comes into these fights. Last time he was just a bit too late to really capitalize on the positioning of Vici Gaming.
Ice, continuing to force somebody to come to that top lane and reveal themselves, but Fada not interested in that at all. Had a rough time so far in this laning phase. He's going for the mech now, but an 18-minute mech SF isn't as scary as it would be around this time.
Right.
I think this speaks to what C9 want to go for. They realize the late game is just not there for them anymore. We have to go for the push, get a mech on whoever we can, and just go for it.
Super trying to finish up a Yasha. I also love the Sanj build here from how he's going to try and complete the S and Y, but the Sanj first just allows him to have that innate tankiness to survive through the first round of nukes. Bottom lane, they're going to try and do a little bit of harassment here. Misery actually gets brought very low from that assassination. That's going to become a big, big problem with that level 2 nuke. 485 damage from an assassinate. Guy like Misery, who's only operating on 606 max HP right now, doesn't stand a chance.
The annoying thing for him too, though, is that because they don't have a mech, any sort of natural regen for him,
right?
Anytime he gets sniped, he just has to go back to the base.
Yeah,
and that's got to be so frustrating as a Pugna.
Yeah, especially since he is kind of a hero, particularly with the Nether Blast. He wants to be positioned forward. He has to get close enough to Nether Blast down these towers, but if he ever goes for it, he's immediately going to be assassinated. So it's a bit of a predicament here Cloud9 are facing. It seems like they've centered on, we can't really take the fight to Vici Gaming right now. We're going to have to farm up a couple more items here. The Blade Mail is now complete for Bone 7. That's a start. They also really need that mech for the SF as well.
That Blade Mail can be a game changer because it can neutralize the sniper for quite some time, but FY can just pop the Winter's Curse and counter it. They need at least a few more items on their course to be able to make this turnaround. Eternal Envy has to pick up a major item. The mech has to be finished on Fada, who's actually getting quite close to it. But once that happens, they're probably going to have to go for some sort of pseudo push, but he's being trapped in. They don't have a disable for him quite yet. Fenrir's a little bit further away. Gonna bait this.
Grabs the room.
Not gonna notice this.
And vacuum back, Echo Slam. Yep, they locked him in. Eternal Envy didn't blink away in time. He thought he was fine, but a beautifully chain set of disables from Vici Gaming find the pickoff.
Did you notice that Fenrir just waited a little bit far behind? They knew that Eternal Envy was going to dip onto the low ground. He has no vision there, throws the fissure. I mean, he just thought he was going to blink. Worst comes to worst, even if the fissure lands, but perfectly coordinated by Vici.
So things looking pretty bad here at 16 minutes for Cloud9. Already a 5,000 gold advantage for Vici Gaming. Bone 7's going to start working towards a medallion. They do still have that dire side advantage that will allow you to go for Roshan. Top lane, Fada is going to be charged here by Ice. Actually goes for the vacuum play. Eternal Envy is coming in though. Ice has to back up. He forced out the ultimate, and I think he's happy with that. He's just going to TP away. And this is the huge, obvious opening that Cloud9 presented to Vici Gaming in their draft, is that they just do not have any disables, so split pushing and playing it very aggressively like Ice just did, always has an escape available.
It really helps when Ice has 1,000 HP, that mech, a bottle to go with it.
Yeah.
It's so farmed at just 17 minutes in the game.
Oh, poor Misery, jeez. One rocket barrage. He just gets taken out immediately.
This is going to mean the mid tower right now from Vici Gaming is they're going to take this, but Ice going top to deal with Eternal Envy. He doesn't want the split push to happen, and How is positioned so aggressively. He has to be careful right now.
FY, Cloud9 can't afford to group up too much. There's going to be that Winter's Curse, but it looks like Vici Gaming don't really want to go for the fight here. Meanwhile, Eternal Envy has been chased away by Ice. They know, Vici Gaming know that they're in such a good position right now. They don't want to be giving away anything for free. Even a trade-off is not worth it for them at this point. So they don't continue to go for that tier 1 tower push and focus on the defense at top lane.
There's no reason for them to. They've got the better cores in the late game. They've got a sniper who can just hold his ground, fight non-stop, especially when he grabs a BKB. You've got a gyrocopter. I mean, we've seen time and time again, this hero is just a monster in the late game. That flat cannon, your call down is almost always useful. The rocket barrage destroys support. So
Bone 7 gonna make the initiation here. Cloud9 desperately need to win this fight. Oh, what a vacuum! With her first share on top. Unbelievable display of coordination from Vici Gaming. Quickly win the fight. 3 heroes down on the side of Cloud9 and a tier 1 tower to be picked up for Vici.
That wall vacuum just completely ruined C9. They had no idea what was coming. Fenrir drops the Earthshaker fissure at the same time. No time for them to respond out of that, and with this is going to mean a tier 2 tower. There's just so many combination plays. We saw it earlier in the qualifiers, that Winter's Curse vacuum combination that they can throw out. C9 is just struggling to stay alive.
Now they're just fishing for more. Ice trying to go for the vacuum uphill with Fenrir coordinating a potential fissure block, but they didn't find anybody and will just have to content themselves with the tier 2 tower before the 20-minute marker. Not bad for Vici Gaming.
2 towers, 3 kills. I mean, Vici Gaming right now are just running over C9. They're not letting them catch their breath. I think he wants to go for a BKB, but he's nowhere near it. And this Pugna pick is quite greedy, Austin. They actually have to accomplish a lot with him. They have to take towers, they have to get aggressive around the map. You have to utilize that Nether Ward, but before they can even get down lanes, Vici Gaming are already right there, ready to meet them. No time for C9 to prepare.
Do you agree with his choice to go for the maxed out Nether Ward secondary instead of delaying it slightly with a level in Life Drain? Like, given the added utility of Life Drain being able to heal up allies, I feel like it's more valuable than it used to be to getting that early level.
I think it's okay, but it's more just the fact that he realizes they need another
Don't tell me. Super's already thrown the shrapnel in. They will be able to pick up the Aegis, but the question is, are they going to be able to escape? Big Daddy's thrown out the tombstone immediately, but he's easily going to be cleaned up by the Rocket Barrage. And what a great vacuum, pulling Misery back over that Fisher. The ultimate gets laid out from Fada, but he does not have a TP away. A second life means nothing if you die and die again. Super now grabs the illusion root, because why the hell not? Fada is going to be stuck, surrounded by 5, and Eternal Envy just sits there knowing he can't do anything to stop the massacre.
Yeah, he had an opportunity to blink out, but it's almost like he's just watching stunned as his entire team gets wiped out. They manage to do the sneaky Aegis, but it doesn't even matter at this point. They do snipe the courier from Vici Gaming, but there's a blink dagger already available on Fenrir. It's not like the sniper gets weaker the later the game goes.
Eternal Envy challenging Super, though I'm not sure why. There's no way he wins that man fight. Now that Super has completed Shreds, a couple of stat items such as Wraith Bands and Ring of Aquila. You've got that SNY on top. He's actually quite tanky. 1200 HP with agility treads on.
He doesn't know about the Earthshaker Blink Dagger. I think C9...
They're going to go for this one. Winter's Curse, they're going to lead with that one. No need to go for the Jump Echo Slam if the Winter's Curse is in range. 22-7, a dominant performance here from Vici Gaming. All they have to do is make sure they don't make any mistakes when pushing uphill. Of course, that's not going to be happening just yet. But more than willing to sit back and farm up some more. How's going to be completing a BKB soon. Super. Plenty of big stat items he can go for. Team fight-wise, what is your item choice as a sniper nowadays? I mean, we don't see too much of him in the current meta. He does go for like kind of a stat, very mid-game focused build, but now that he's running out of slots, you got to exchange that Wraith Band for something. Is BKB very valuable here, knowing that you're still dealing with a lot of magic nukes, or do you just go more raw damage, assuming that your distance is going to keep you safe?
I think he can completely just decide to go for raw damage right now. Keeping him alive isn't even an issue. I don't even think he's had to be Winter's Embrace once this game. Like, the curse is there. You've got Fenrir with the counter initiation of the Fissure and the Echo Slam that they have to worry about. The thing is, Cloud9, they just have so much to worry about. Even the supports are able to deal damage at this phase of the game when you're this far behind. And Fenrir,
carefully, there goes the Echo Slam with the assassination to finish him off. Wicked sick for Super, with Fenrir leading the charge.
You don't have to build offensive items when the entire team just has to play defensive.
Oh, they're going to poke uphill. They say, hey, if you want to take that tier 1 tower, go ahead. We're going to go for your tier 3 first. And sure enough, there goes the TPs back. Knowing they have to be able to mount some sort of response, it is just way too early for them to lose a tier 3 tower like this. Misery being brought back. The long-range nukes are actually almost enough to finish him off. His own illusion almost finishes him. But Misery will just barely survive, in part thanks to the mech. The tier 3 tower has been brought down to half HP, though.
Super doesn't have mana for this. There's no Echo Slam available. This might actually be an opportunity for C9 because
they don't even have the BKB on How. I think Vici Gaming perhaps are a bit too far forward. Cloud9 are sneaking their way around this one. They're going to be able to force the fight here. Big Daddy No Tail leading with the Tombstone, trying to slow everyone down. The Blood Right is laid out. Rupture being placed on Ice. So they're going to focus on the Tombstone first, but there goes the Decrepulate. Nice vacuum with the Winter's Curse over the top, still controlling 3. They almost finish off 1. Fada will be able to get off the ultimate. Eternal Envy lets loose his own, and they manage to finish off 2 already. FY is going to be left, but so too does Queen of Pain fall. Super is left with a minimal amount of HP. They have to finish him off, and both 7 does get him in the end. Cloud9 get 4, and looking for a 5th now as Fenrir blinks away, will be fine. But Cloud9, sure enough, Vici Gaming, they just push too far forward, perhaps too confident in their lead, and Cloud9 pounce on that moment of weakness.
That was honestly a game of millimeters right there, because the call down just missed the Vacuum Winter's Curse combination. I think that would have been enough for Vici to win that fight, but Vici Gaming, they're just a little bit too overconfident. They smelled blood. They were like, okay, we're taking this tower down for free. C9 don't seem very interested in defending this, but you can't go without your wall. You can't go without the BKB on the Gyrocopter. There was no Echo Slam on Fenrir, and all of a sudden C9, they turn it around. They've got a BKB fully completed on Fada. Wow. Eternal Envy is about to get his Aghanim Scepter. if you're a C9 fan, everything that you wanted to happen just happened.
Big Daddy. He had 3K gold. He's actually going to be going for a very early Lotus Orb. Why do you think that is? Out of all the items he could have chose to go for, they already have the mech up on the SF, so that's taken away, but there's plenty of other defensive items.
That's so genius. There's only there's only 2 targetable spells, I think, right now for Vici Gaming. You've got the Winter's Curse, which is obviously what he's shooting for, or the Smite, or the Assassinate. Both spells would be really good.
FY, he's going to be slowed down here, Misery. It's a little life drain out. He does have several Cloud9 members coming back if FY is not careful. Of course, they know with that Nether Ward proccing off of the Darkseer spamming Ion Shell. They know there's support behind FY.
Super. Just continuing to farm. It looks like he's going to go for the Scotty.
They get a BKB. I mean, what a huge turnaround. We went from no BKB on the SF to now almost, BKB complete for the SF, but almost one on the Bloodseeker as well, which is obviously critical for him being able to get up in the face of heroes like the Sniper and the Gyrocopter.
Yeah, and how he actually got destroyed by that Blade Mail. He didn't have the BKB. If he did, that might have been a huge play, but
Fenrir is going to jump forward. There goes the Winter's Curse. They're going to have the call down on top and with a vacuum. Oh, quick 2 kills for Vici Gaming, and they are right in front of Cloud9's base. What a disaster. Bone7 had just completed his BKB and was about to fly it out to him. This also means he doesn't have buyback.
There is an Aghanim Scepter now on Envy, and he can spam this wave down. They know that Vici Gaming don't have a lot of their crucial ultimates. There's no Winter's Curse. You've got a cooldown that still has cooldown and no Wall of Replica, but I think that Vici Gaming, they're still going to go for this.
Rax is exposed. They're going to start going for that melee. Rax starting things off, the vacuum, and Fada is going to be potentially taking a lot of damage. They actually cancel the Assassinate there from Super. Wanted to go for positioning over everything else, especially with Misery coming back and Bone7 soon to follow. They just take the tier 3 and are happy with that.
They should be. They don't have to play aggressively if they don't want to. Like, they've got so many advantages right now. Their heroes, they've got the better range carries. Sniper, that was what he was feared for in the late game. You can just sit back, click away, don't really have to do too much. And C9 realized that. They have to realize, okay, we've got the items that we need. We've got a BKB on Bone7, a BKB on Fada.
They need to force the fight right here. The Tombstone's laid out. What a beautiful Fissure from Fenrir. And that smoke completely neutralized by Fenrir.
And I think with that, what Vici Gaming are going to do are wait just half a second. They've got the Wall of Replica back up. Winter's Curse is up at the same time. They've got a Blink Dagger now on their Winter Wyvern. This is going to be go time for Vici Gaming.
Wow. It's that kind of initiation. They're going to deal with the Tombstone first. That is not up for another 30 seconds.
They've even got vision inside of C9's base right now. And I can't believe this ward still hasn't been countered, but it's up right now. And Vici Gaming are going to have perfect vision for this fight. They couldn't have asked for more. They have every single ultimate off of cooldown. They've got their BKBs ready. Not a whole lot that C9 can do to defend this. The Tombstone is still on cooldown.
Eternal Envy's going for a bit of split push right now in the top lane, but has to TP back to defend. But Raintrax is already down before there's any sort of response from Cloud9. Now Blink Dagger is picked up on Fada, and this is their opportunity, especially with the heroes far forward. They're going to lead with the Rupture now on How. The pipe is already laid out. Tombstone in place. There goes the vacuum. 2-man Fissure. Already the Winter's Curse laid out, and they actually blink backwards. Fada, oh dear, I'm not sure if that's what he wanted to do. Now he's threatening the ultimate, but How doesn't seem to care. He's going to keep moving forward. And with BKB, he's going to be completely fine. 2 heroes taken out as Super managed to finish off No Tail thanks to the Assassinate.
And nobody from Vici Gaming is hurting right now. They've all got full HP, nearly full mana. They were able to easily take down 2. Ice, Ice, Ice with that blink, or that vacuum initiation every single time. He's got a pipe on him, and I think this is just go time for Vici.
I felt like they were in a good position there almost with it. With Cloud9, the initiation came out from Vici Gaming, but Fada blinked backwards and popped his BKB rather than forwards. I thought he was going to be in a great position for his ultimate, but that just wasn't there. And now the melee Rax is going to be given up. Cloud9, oh, be careful, Eternal Envy, he goes down. Bone7 now pops a blade bell, but it's too late. And now Fada, oh, everything's just falling apart for Cloud9. Fenrir gets threatened by the ultimate from Eternal Envy. How does pick up the double kill towards the end there, and it seems like Vici Gaming are all going to be able, that's it. Cloud9 call it GG. One set of racks, but they know they are so far behind against Vici Gaming. They will give up their position here at the International. Vici Gaming will move forward.
what a draft by them. It was just completely balanced. They always had the wombo combos ready. Usually in those types of lineups, you're like, okay, in an ideal situation, yeah, that looks amazing, but they pulled off the ideal situation every single time.
Cloud9